Thank you very, very much. Good afternoon. I would like to introduce myself. I am Jarmel Fairclough. I am the board president for the Bloomfield-Garfield Board of Directors. I would love to welcome you all to the 21st Annual Aggie Awards Luncheon. It's so wonderful to see so many friends, partners, and neighbors here today to celebrate the people who make our community stronger. Before we begin, I would love to recognize any special guests that are joining us today, and I especially want to thank all of you for sponsoring our event for today. Any special guests in the room? You all are special. Let me begin by thanking Duolingo, Highmark Health, PNC, Mr. Bill Cornell and Kelly's Bar and Lounge, Mystic Construction, UPMC, and all of our other generous funders. And be sure to take a look at the list of that's in your program book, because they rose above anything that we've ever seen. So we truly could not do this without all of your support. And I really want to thank you all for coming out. So today is all about honoring community leadership and celebrating the progress that we've made happen in Garfield, Penn Avenue, and across the whole East End. It's also our chance to share with you the work of our organization that relies on our wonderful staff, our amazing board, and the many partners that help us keep the ball rolling towards the goal line, and that goal line changes every day. So as you partake in your lunch, please enjoy the slideshow of photos that highlight the BGC's work and accomplishments over the past year. And again, I really want to thank you all for coming out and celebrating with us. Thank you. We are going to have a 4-minute video And the video is going to highlight some of the most recent work that the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation has done. And the video was created by Emma Stewart. After the video completes, I am going to ask Mr. Rick Swartz to come to the stage, and he will introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you.
I think what sets the BGC apart is that they are in our community and they are very invested in making sure that it stays as affordable, accessible, and really reachable to people who are just starting out. And they put their money where their mouth is.
They just let you know that your dreams are catchable. Not only do you chase your dreams, but you can catch them as well.
They really stay involved. With just the newspaper that they send out, really giving a lot of information and a lot of local news that's relevant to our community. And also creating meeting spaces and meetings actually in their spaces to have neighbors and business owners and people within our community to meet up and talk. And they've just really done a great job in trying to activate and really engage all of us in the Bloomfield-Garfield area.
Through the BGC stewardship, I believe we have begun stewarding the space in 2021 by utilizing vacant land. We are able to create more parks and create dense gathering areas. The Green Zone also is looking to steward more physical health. So we have 600 feet worth of walking space and trail space on the Hillcrest Green site. We have the intent to only plant fruit and nut and food producing trees.
After purchasing my home from the BGC, I just learned more about what they do with the community and how awesome and how great everybody really is. And I knew that that was something that I wanted to be involved with. Moving to a neighborhood where I knew nobody, I wanted to get out in the community, meet new people, meet new neighbors, and just be able to help in any way possible.
It's helped me become an adult, I guess you can say. It's helped mold me. I know how to be business casual, I know how to express myself and how I feel, especially as a man. They teach you, they taught me how to be expressive. I can still say how I feel. They are so hands-on. They care, and they care. If they feel like you can do something, they will let you know that, and they'll let you know you can do it. Well, you don't even have a doubt in your mind, because they know, and they care about you. They make sure you're working hard.
One of our summer Learn and Earn students this year recently came to us in the middle of July, and he told us about being able to identify, fix, and actually maintain his girlfriend's grandmother's backyard. She had been dealing with it for about 8 years, and folks kept promising to come help her out and maintain the space, and it was severely overrun, and they really couldn't identify what was and wasn't, poisonous or is useful or could actually be eaten. And he came up to us one day after class and was like, yeah, I spent the whole weekend, actually showing them, and I felt really good.
I think the BGC is an incredible organization. Their commitment to our community and really any sort of, I wish other organizations had what they do, which is they are here really striving as best as they can in order to both uplift this community as much as possible and serve the people that are already here. And it's a really hard balance, and I don't think any organization is ever going to get it 1,000% perfect. The BGC comes pretty close.
Okay, we're going to get started with our official program, and it's not going to be real long. We're not going to sit up here and talk about all of the programs and projects and activities that we've been working on and half bore you to death. Instead, we're going to talk about one small facet of what the BGC has done for the past 50 years, and that is the publication of our community newspaper, the Bulletin. When Aggie Bros and the other founding members of the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation got the ball rolling way back in 1975, they decided there needed to be some kind of continual community connection, the assembly of news in the community and getting that back out to residents, business owners, institutions. And they started the Bulletin with Sister Sally Witt as the first editor. And she went on for about almost 10 years. And since that time, we've had a succession of editors for the paper. And one of those editors is going to be honored here today. I saw, I think, Mandy Kendall in the room, a former editor. Mandy, you want to stand up? And I think Jeff Becker might be in the room somewhere, but I'm not sure. Jeff. So again, Garfield back in 1975 and the Penn Avenue corridor were facing some serious challenges. And what the organization wanted to do was to document what those challenges actually were and how they were going to be addressed. And it was a very incremental process, month by month. They tried to elicit support from important public officials in our city to come into Garfield and the Penn Avenue Commercial District, which we share with Bloomfield and Friendship, and start a long-term program to bring those areas back to stability, to prosperity, and to being an attractive asset. And the first efforts, suffice it to say, did not always yield the results that people were seeking. And what the Bulletin has given us, because it has been around for 50 years, it's given us a clear record of the transformation that has happened. And I can tell you, Sister Sally Witt, when she would ask me a question, she wasn't looking for some kind of pat response. She treated it like a true journalist. Just tell me the facts, tell me the truth, don't sugarcoat it, don't gloss over things. I'm trying to explain to the public what it is you're doing in your job and how it is you're doing your job. So very objective posture. And I think the succession of editors that we've had realized that the Bulletin is not a propaganda piece for the community or for the organization. And there have been times when we've had to do articles about the failures of the BGC because it's important that people understand that not everything that we do is successful and that we do stumble along sometimes like everybody else. I would say that, for today in our city, it's never been a harder time to have any kind of a newspaper or to even be in the field of journalism. Across the country, many papers are shrinking or closing. Reporters are losing their jobs. It used to be that you could walk to the newsstand and pick up a newspaper every morning and figure out what was going on in the city. That is no longer possible today. So the last thing that we wanted to do at the BGC was to give up our community newspaper. And we are blessed to have a number of business advertisers who help us keep the paper afloat, but we also rely on some of our funders to help support the cause. The funders like PNC Bank, Dollar Bank, and Key Bank, very pivotal in allowing us to have a part-time editor who can be there when people need somebody to talk to about what's going on in their part of the neighborhood. You know, the other issue for us always is if we allow the paper to just dissolve and go away, what happens to the truth? How do people find out what is factual and how those facts unveil a larger truth about our community and our city? As we all know today, when we turn on the media on our phone or on our laptop or iPad, many times the information that we're getting is really slanted to the perspective of the person who's delivering that information. There are very few places where impartiality and objectivity reign. And when we talk about reinventing neighborhoods and bringing change to those communities, there are often downsides that have to be spoken about. People need to understand that the status quo is often safe for people who are afraid of change. And the BGC has always styled itself as a change agent. We have not been a supporter of the status quo. But that does not give us the license nor the liberty to trample over our residents, our business owners, and anybody else who has a stake in the outcome. We've had a very difficult year dealing with People's Gas and the replacement of the gas lines on Penn Avenue. And I can tell you that there were some pretty heated moments at community meetings and some pretty tart emails that flowed back and forth between ourselves and Peoples and the city of Pittsburgh. The city felt that it really didn't have the leverage to police Peoples closely and make sure that our businesses in our business district did not suffer inordinately because of the project. They really did not want to pick up that baton, and they left it to the community to hack it out with Peoples. And to Peoples' credit, they really made themselves available to us in a numerous opportunities for meetings and discussions, and then relaying that information back to the business owners. Because I can tell you, if you're a small business owner on Penn Avenue and you're losing 30% of your revenue because of a gas line replacement project, there's nobody to recompensate you or reimburse you. The state has no provision for doing that. So again, through our newspaper, we were able to chart the progress with the replacement project and to bring people into the loop on what was happening or not happening and what timetable was involved. How soon is this thing going to get over? And that was the invaluable part of the newspaper. So I think, again, as we look to the next 50 years and the challenges that are going to confront our communities, who ensures that the facts and not rumors or suppositions really guide our conversations about our neighborhoods? We're going through a change in the mayoral administration here in the city, and suffice it to say that the city's financial picture doesn't look particularly rosy right now. And who's going to monitor how the city engages starting in January with the communities and neighborhoods that it serves? Where are budgetary dollars going to go? Who decides how they're allocated? What projects are really priorities over others? It's a competitive picture, and we want to be able to share with our community how that money gets divvied up. So even in our current issue of the Bulletin, there's an article about the city's capital budget. Because if I walk down Penn Avenue and ask anybody just off the top of their head, what can you tell me about the city's capital budget? And it's a $100 million budget. So again, our purpose is to educate, to inform, not to proselytize, not to propagandize, not to single somebody out for, special treatment because we don't happen to like them. The goal is really to try to push the facts and push the truth as much as possible. And I think it's why our guest speaker today, Natalie Bencivenga, is kind of the ideal person for us to have as our keynote speaker. She's an award-winning journalist and a producer and storyteller who uses every platform she can find, right, in television, radio, podcasts, digital media, to make sure that important issues facing our city and our region are not ignored. Natalie's work reminds us why journalism matters, and not just as a profession, but also as a public service. A healthy community needs people who are willing to ask the hard questions. We had the mayor today as a guest, very briefly, the next mayor, I should say, and people were peppering him with questions left and right, and I wish I had a recorder with me, and secretly, because he was divulging some information that was not known to the larger public, but soon enough we'll all know what that is. But we like to get scoops too at the Bulletin before the Post-Gazette or the Tribune Review gets them. And sometimes we get calls from people in the media who have seen articles in the Bulletin and say, can I talk with you about what's going on with this particular problem or issue? And we want to see that continue. The Bulletin goes to Lawrenceville, it goes to Friendship, it goes to Bloomfield, it goes to Garfield, it goes to part of East Liberty, and I think part of Highland Park. We can't really afford to send it out any further than that, but in the process, it stands as kind of a beacon of light that we want to continue to shine on the work that's being done, not just by BGC, but by everybody, by Assemble, by Action Housing, by Rising Tide Partners, by City of Bridges Community Land Trust, by the Friendship Community Group. All of them are playing an important role in our community today. So without further ado, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Natalie Bencivenga, to come to the podium and honor us with her remarks. Natalie?
Wow. That was very, very kind of you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Bencivenga, and it's true. I'm an independent journalist here based in the city of Pittsburgh, and it is my honor to be with all of you on this very special occasion. When Nina asked me if I would give the keynote at today's awards ceremony, I was truly humbled, and I wanted to take this as an opportunity and challenge to meet this moment with all of you, to reflect on my work and how it intersects with the awardees and this era that we are living in as both a community and as a nation. And when I think about the privilege that it has been to play the role of being an independent journalist, I often go back to my own journey of how I found myself doing this work in the first place. Now, it's a pretty convoluted story and how I ended up here, so I'm not going to go into all the details, but I will just say that I started out being a student who was accepted to medical school, but just couldn't shake off the need to build equity through the lens of storytelling. And with the support of my family, including my mom, who is here. Hi, Mom. If I didn't give a shout out to my Italian mother, are you kidding me? Hi, Mom. They've always supported me, and I appreciate that support so much. So I deferred my seat, and I really never looked back. I didn't set out to be a brand or a voice. I just wanted to tell stories, to share hopes and dreams, to inspire and to educate, to activate people to be the change that they were seeking in their own communities. And over time, I realized that working independently, it gave me a kind of freedom to follow the story wherever it led, to ask questions without fear of who might be offended, and to stay accountable to the people and not to those in power. Being independent in this moment is both a challenge and a responsibility. The gatekeepers are all but gone, but that is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, the democratization of information has opened up incredible opportunities for new voices like my own, for stories that might never have been told, to share analyses that are not always popular or palpable, but are necessary. Now, on the other hand, it has made it harder to know what is true, who to trust, and how to sustain real journalism in a world where clicks too often outweigh credibility. But what doesn't change, and what cannot change, is the purpose. A free press matters most when democracy is under attack. Looking around this room, I see those being honored: journalists, artists, and visionaries, the ones who stand at the edge, holding truth steady while the world teeters. They are the relentless force that hold up our democracy when everything seems to be crashing down around us. And so I wanted to take just a moment to acknowledge them today. Bonita Lee Penn, poet, playwright, and multimedia artist whose work explores memory, identity, and spirituality through the lens of the Black aesthetic. I see you. Alisha B. Wormsley, Guggenheim Fellow, interdisciplinary artist, and cultural producer whose visionary products imagine Black, liberated, and Indigenous futures. I see you. Bill O'Driscoll, award-winning Pittsburgh journalist whose 30-year career has shaped arts and cultural coverage locally and nationally. I see you. And Kahmeela Adams-Friedson, a Pittsburgh-based producer, journalist, and multimedia storyteller who champions underrepresented voices with creativity and insight. I see you. Artists and journalists have always shared a special calling. We both commit to a purpose greater than ourselves, to collective truth, to memory, to justice. But we're living in a time where everything seems to be about the individual, about me and my brand and my followers. But imagine just for a moment if everyone woke up tomorrow morning and started saying, "We" is more powerful than me. Think of what would be possible. And that's the power of journalism and the power of the arts, and how they are the same in that way. They hold up a mirror to our interconnectedness. They remind us that our survival depends on one another. That's why, throughout history, fascists have always come for artists and journalists first, because we bring attention to the ideas and ways of being that extend beyond self-interest. I'm reminded of the words by Martin Niemöller, who wrote, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak." That quote isn't just about history, it's about right now. It's a reminder that silence will not save us, and that this work, whether journalism or art, is not just a job, it is a calling. When I was researching, thank you. When I was researching Aggie, of course, the Aggie Awards, and her tireless advocacy that helped the people of her community and Pittsburgh access opportunities to achieve the highest quality of life, I realized that she understood something essential. Even when the issue didn't personally affect her, she recognized that our intersections are what will not just help us survive, but to thrive. My goal has always been to inspire, to educate, and to activate. Because beyond thinking and feeling, we have to ask, what do we do once we know? And so, in the spirit of this kind of journalism, the kind that seeks truth and builds community through the lens of equity, the kind that seeks to find solutions to long-standing problems facing us, here are a few things we can all do as good citizens, speaking as a solutions-driven journalist. Ask yourself, what would Aggie do? She'd tell us to get in the game, to support local, and to care loudly. And so I will echo that sentiment. Support your local papers, attend town meetings, volunteer with organizations doing the work that improves the lives of the many and not just the privileged few. Donate to museums, to art centers, buy art, show up for protests, join a cause that doesn't impact you personally. And whatever you do, please do not cross the picket lines. Because Because this isn't just about one story, one byline, one art piece. It's about all of us, the storytellers, the truth seekers, the helpers. When we link arms as journalists, artists, and citizens, we become the heartbeat of our democracy. We remind the world that the truth still matters, that compassion still counts, that justice still calls. And no matter how unprecedented these times may be, as long as we keep speaking, keep creating, and keep showing up for one another, there will always be someone left to speak for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. A wonderful address. I'm going to invite Alonso Diaz-Perez, our Chief Operations Officer, up to the podium, and Jarmel Fairclaw, our Board President, to present the awards to our 4 honorees. Come on up. So this is Alonso's first turn at the podium. So if you would cut him a little slack.
Hey everyone. Amazing. This podium, incredible. Well, good afternoon. If you're unfamiliar with me, as Rick said, my name is Alonso. And if I haven't been to your doorstep or about construction or some other issue in the neighborhood, I chair the Penn Avenue Arts and Commercial District, and I do oversee the day-to-day at the BGC. The Aggie Awards are named in honor of Aggie Bros, who was a relentless advocate for positive change in Pittsburgh. And though I definitely missed her tenure as I was doing many other different things somewhere else, I really got the energy from what she made happen and what Rick has brought to my life as well, and what this organization brings to us all. And I work with staff who exemplify that spirit every single day. The lights are kind of difficult for me to actually see my people out there, but by name, it starts with Paris Wright, Judy Labarsky, Julia Beednell, Jamie Kelly, Kwame Kinsel, Nina Gibbs, and Rick Swartz. And our board. Now, beyond my bewilderment at how time has literally flown, as it feels like just yesterday, I was at that checkout table last year, literally during this moment, but I am as blown away by our 2025 Aggie Awardees, whose change-making contributions are shaping Pittsburgh for the better. Now, without further literal ado, we have Bonita Lee Penn. Bonita is a Pittsburgh-based poet and multimedia artist, and currently the managing editor at Soul Pit Quarterly magazine, which highlights and uplifts the African-American community in Western Pennsylvania. Bonita has been a recipient of the Advancing Black Arts in Pittsburgh grant, and is the author of When the Trees Finally Testify, and every morning a foot is looking for my neck, and is also a contributor to the award-winning anthology Where We Stand, Poems of Black Resilience. Her poetry has appeared in the Massachusetts Review, Women's Studies Quarterly, and many other literary journals. She has shared her work at the Greater Pittsburgh Festival of Books and the New York City Poetry Festival. Yeah, amazing, amazing. The storytelling explores memory, identity, and spirituality through the lens of the Black aesthetic. She holds a master's in fine arts in poetry from Lesley University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and a bachelor's of science in professional writing from Carlow University. Bonita is a Martha's Vineyard Institute of Creative Writing Fellow and Mad Women in the Attic workshop facilitator. She serves on the board of the directors at Sweetwater Center for the Arts and leads literary programs with the United Black Book Clubs of Pittsburgh. And as an aside, a former jazz poetry performer and soloist, she's also the founder of Beast Bags LLC. Please join me in celebrating Bonita Lee Penn.
Okay, well, as someone told me earlier today, I didn't know people really knew what I did around here. And she said, yeah, people were watching. So, and also, Natalie, I also tell people in my poetry workshops that when there is anything about a rebellion, that they do come for the poets and the writers first. So I use that often. And I would just like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank my family. And of course, my friends over here who were in my play, Gospel in the Wake, and who have been my friends for a long time. I'm so glad that they also came. So I just have to say thank you, and I just do what I do because that's what I was born to do. So thank you. Thank you for supporting the artists.
Our next awardee is Alisha B. Wormsley. Alisha is an interdisciplinary artist and cultural producer. Alisha's work is dedicated to the expansion and creation of time and space and the rematriation of Black, Indigenous matriarch. Alisha is a mother and founder of Siblis Shrine, and her project, Sibbles, apologize. And her project, There Are Black People in the Future. Where both focus on the redistribution of resources and reimagination and rematriation of Black and Indigenous futures. Alisha is a 2022 Guggenheim Fellow in Fine Arts, and recent projects include the 2023 Creative Time Open Call with collaborator Suzanne Kite. For their project, Cosmologyscape, where they design invitations for rest and reimagination rooted in practices of Afrofuturism and Indigenous protocol. Alisha is also an awardee of the Carol Brown Achievement Award and holds a Master of Fine Arts in Film and Video from Bard College, and is an assistant professor of art in the area of social practice at Carnegie Mellon University. Give it up for Alisha B. Wormsley.
Hey! Okay, I'm really grateful for this award. When I moved back to Pittsburgh 13 years ago, I had left for 15 years, 17 bounced. And I didn't think I would be back. And when I came back, BGC actually, Rich was working there, he walked me up and down Penn Avenue 4 or 5 times, showing me everything. Actually got my apartment that day at Carl's TV Repair on the 3rd floor. And shout out to Carl. And Carl Jr. actually was our landlord, and Quinique, right? So, and I started my family there, and I'm still here, and just really grateful to be in the legacy of Aggie, who's a pretty amazing lady. And thank you. Oh, wait. Also, my mom's here, June Wormsley, and one of my 2 children, Shepherd, sitting right there. And I'm really thankful. Okay.
Our next award goes to Bill O'Driscoll. Bill is a Pittsburgh-based journalist specializing in the arts. He spent 21 years at the alternative weekly Pittsburgh City paper, with the final 14 as an arts editor. Since 2018, he has served as arts and culture reporter for 90.5 WESA, Pittsburgh's NPR affiliate. And as a freelancer, he has written for local and national outlets on topics ranging from urban development and environmental issues right down to the arts as well. Bill has racked up awards and honors that include 24 Golden Quill Awards from the Western Pennsylvania Newspaper Association. In 2018, he was one of 8 winners of the Rapkin Prize, a national honor given annually to arts journalists. And lastly, certainly not least, Bill actually served as the editor for The Bulletin from 1994 to 1997. So give it up to Bill.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really honored to get this award. As you've been told, I was at the BGC and the Bulletin back in 1994 to 97. So worked with Aggie most days of the week. It was a part-time job of being editor of the Bulletin. Didn't work out quite that simply, but it was a great job, and it was a great introduction to that part of town and all the great folks who work at the BGC, including Rick Schwartz, of course, who's here with us today, and others who are not, including Aggie, of course. Aggie was the one who always never one to either not start a fight or not back down from one. She was the one who had us do the Landlord of the Month feature in the Bulletin. We started that, which was to highlight negligent landlords in the neighborhood, run out and take a picture of some poorly cared for property. And yeah, I guess we must have got a few calls about that. I'm sort of blocking them out now, but it was fun. Anyway, I finished up at the Bulletin in '97, and I think that's just before the Penn Avenue Arts Initiative got started. At the time, there was, and folks who are here will remember, there was literally one arts facility on Penn Avenue at the time. There was Garfield Artworks. Anybody remember that? Garfield Artworks? It's a great spot. Again, that went the way of all art galleries at some point, but in the meantime, all this other stuff got seeded there, all up and down the avenue. who would have thought when I left to work at Pittsburgh City Paper in 1997 that a few years later I'd be back covering places like the Pittsburgh Glass Center and places like that, or even more improbably, almost 30 years later, here I am still covering places like the Glass Center's expansion and Silver Center for the Arts and Elmer Freeman Center for Imagination. And I saw Henry here, the Pedantic Arts Residency is there now, and so many other places, including some others that have come and gone over the years. So it's been a great ride, and I just wanted to, this event is sort of journalism themed. So I just wanted to, again, put in a word for journalism. Other people have done it, but I worked at Pittsburgh City Paper, which was a free weekly that still does exist, but as you may have noticed several weeks ago, it stopped publishing a print edition. So that was the last of the free weeklies in the city to go that way. And what's happened with papers like that, as well as even bigger, much bigger publications like the Post-Gazette, is simply the business model for that kind of journalism, which had been around for well over a century, driven by advertising, has simply collapsed, right? All the ads have gone online. It's not enough to support the kind of work that they used to do, let alone the actual physical print copies. So the Bulletin is still around. It's one of the number of neighborhood publications. So I would just reiterate what other people are saying. Support journalism in Pittsburgh. I'd urge you to do that. Doesn't have to be WESA, where I work now, although I wouldn't mind that. We lost our own federal funding. In fact, the entire national public media system, including the funding that was promised to us for the next 2 years by Congress in March, was taken away in July. So, we need your help as much as ever, if not more than ever. But so do other publications that you can subscribe to and support. I would say any publication or outlet that you trust, do your best to support them, because I think it's important, and I know you guys all do too. Thank you very much.
And now we have our last awardee, Kahmeela Adams-Friedson. Kahmeela has spent over 2 decades taking the Pittsburgh art scene by literal storm. Kahmeela is an event producer, video editor, photographer, podcaster, and journalist, which basically means that she's always got a camera or pen in her hand ready to capture your story, or hopefully mine, especially if you're one of those people who don't usually get to tell it. Kahmeela is deeply passionate about giving a voice to the voiceless, always an advocate for the arts, and Kahmeela has designed a career that allows her to create in multiple areas of media. Kahmeela is a connoisseur of sarcasm and a master of side-eye, bringing her unique brand of humor to everything that she touches. Now, with particular expertise in the 80s and 90s pop culture, her opinions in life, film, literature can be found on The Rugged Angel Cast, the #1 movie in America podcast, in the Pittsburgh City Paper, and Bust Magazine, among others. In other words, or in exactly these words, if you're looking for someone to tell your story, break down a classic 80s flick, or just generally making sense of the world, Kahmeela is that person. So please join me in congratulating Kahmeela.
Thank you very much. I'm so nervous right now, I'm like schwitzing. Can you hear my heart beating right now? Because I am very rarely the one in the spotlight. Thank you. Most of my career has been to help to elevate other people's stories, other organizations' stories, to help others tell their story. And it's not that often that I get to come out here and say hi. But yeah, thank you all very much. I'm so humbled by this, to be included with this amazing cohort of journalists and creators. unbeknownst to some of y'all, you have served as my mentor. I'm looking at you, Alisha. I love you. And also, I've also had the pleasure of working and collaborating with and interviewing a lot of you in this room that I'm seeing right now. So yeah, once again, thank you all very much. This means a lot to me. As a matter of fact, when Nina sent me the email, I was like, was this supposed to come to me? It was.
And now I am going to pass the mic to Nina Gibbs, who made an incredible event like this happen. Nina Gibbs.
Hey, y'all. As you know, I'm Nina Gibbs. I'm the Director of Development for the Bloomfield-Garfield Corporation. Yay! I just want to thank everyone for being here. It really means a lot to the organization, but me personally, so thank you. I would like to call Natalie back up to the stage real quick. For your exemplary work, Natalie, we have an award for you too. I'm gonna give it to you. We are so thankful for you for speaking today and the work that you do in the community, and like, we're so proud of you. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry, that was a surprise to our photographer. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Next, I would like to say thank you to Lauren and Patrick Bryn, who are their Aggie's family. We are so thankful that they share their grandma's legacy with us. We're really thankful that they join us every year and allow us to share in her memory. So thank you guys so much. We love you. A couple housekeeping items. I just want to let you know. On your table, there are some stickers, some freebies, some bulletin stickers. Please take some home with you. And remember us as you're sticking that on your laptop or the back of your car. Give us your money, y'all. We need the funds to keep this going. We can't do it without the support. Please, when you think of what would Aggie do, she would cut us a check. Please keep her legacy going. And we're really thankful for everybody here. And I would like to have our board of directors stand up really quickly. If you're on the BGC board, if you could please stand up. We couldn't do the work without their work. If they didn't show up every month and put in the efforts, we could not provide these programs. So we're really thankful for them. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for them. Donate to us and have a good night.